house and funding online. Start with one more. Yeah, three. We need three. Right, Ed?
What?
We need 3 for quorum, correct?
At least.
At least.
You think we're going to have an issue?
I don't know. Yep, just that.
Yeah, for that, the mayor doesn't count. We need 3 aldermen.
Yep. One minute. You seen the lights on the corner? See where the horses are? Oh, Jacqueline. Oh.
Hey, Jackie. You're on mute.
Jackie's a big old slacker.
Oh,
Hello.
Jackie. Where's my girl? Come on now.
This was supposed to be on Zoom, right?
Jackie Slackerton.
Either way.
Yeah.
Either way
Oh,
works.
I didn't know. I thought it was supposed to be on Zoom. Okay.
Time being 6:30, we call this regular meeting to order. Closed session. Town council to convene into closed session meeting pursuant to Texas Government Code Chapter 551, Section 551.071 to discuss matters relating to consultation with town attorney as follows. Consultation with town attorney regarding legal issues related to town's extraterritorial jurisdiction. Time being 6:31, we are convened into closed session. Tammy, can you do your magic, please?
Now do it.
Time being 6:51, we are reconvened into open session. Town council to recess until 7 p.m.
All right. Yep. Good for you. That's what I'm guessing. But that's good. Noel, ha ha ha. Well,
Because it's what's on. No.
Okay, public participation. Mr. Noller. You can sit right there. There you go. Bridget, would you help him turn that on?
Thank you. Live at 739 Seal, Martinsville, Texas. Very proud of Martin. Came here to express my appreciation to the town, employees, and committee members. Honor for my son during this recent event. Plant was beautiful, and Bridget particularly appreciate yourself. Tim was rather interesting. You know, he knew that was beautiful. Church chapel only has 60 people, but 50% left. And Saturday night, 177 people got online live. And thanks a lot. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Appointed representative liaison reports. Denton County Emergency Services District Number 1, no report. Chief?
Thank you, Mayor, Council, staff. There's your monthly graphs there in front of you. If anything that sticks out, please don't hesitate to ask. Things pretty much the same. Our citation count, ticket count, we had 107 total traffic stops. 67 resulted in warning, 33 in citations, and then 7 were others. I included another graph there. It's related to our LPR cameras, the one that's green. So when that system was set up, it stores reads for 30 days. depending on, I mean, it's a 30-day increment read. So when I looked at it the other day, those are the 30 days that I had to look at. So you'll notice that number's right at 500,000 reads, 30 days, which we can't kid ourselves. Those are duplicates and, you know, same vehicle 3 or 4 days in a row. I mean, there's a lot of that going on there, but you can kind of see how many reads that thing's capturing in a month. With that being said, we actually did clear a case up with it. We were able to locate a vehicle that destroyed somebody's mailbox, and hey, everything worked out. So, and then we were able to put a timeline together to assist with another case based on testimony or the investigation from one of the suspects. So it is working out. Anyway, I'd like to comment on Blue Santa. It came to I guess Monday was the last day to bring, or was it? It was Monday. Right? It's trickling in. But just by the looks of it, huge success again. We'll know more next meeting, but from right now, huge success. We received a box from Bartonville store today that was full. Again, we have a blood drive December 26th at 1 p.m. at the Bartonville store. It's not full yet, so if you know anybody that wants to jump in, feel free to pass it on. Other than that, any questions?
So I see you had found some property.
I did not look that up, but yes, we did, apparently.
Okay.
But I can get that information for you.
I'm just curious to know what we found.
More than likely, based on typical calls like that, it's something somebody turned into it.
Okay.
Oh, the 4 crashes, one at Exxon. We had one at West Jeter, which that was the one that we cleared up with Flock. And then we had one at East Jeter that had an injury, and one at 7-Eleven.
Great, thank you, Chief. Town Administrator?
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Included in the agenda is the finance report. So starting off with the sales tax, again, for November 2020, it's performing very strongly. It's up 17% compared to November of last year. And then just to note on expenses, longevity pay was issued this month. So that's just a one-time payment that is issued. I wanted to answer a question from last council meeting regarding discrepancies or differences between the cash balance and the fund balance. So after asking our auditor for the differences, the reason it results from accounts payable and accounts receivable. So if at the end of the month there is any funds that are owed to the town or any funds that we owe to contractors, that is what will cause the discrepancy.
Okay, great. Thank you for checking on that for me.
Of course. And so the fund balances that you will see the discrepancy on most likely will be the general fund or the community development fund. All the other ones will likely always have an identical fund and cash balance. The engineering report shows, general assistance on several plans and plats and zonings. And later on in the agenda, we'll have a more thorough discussion on the streets aspect. Animal control also shows standard activity for the month, and our building report has 14 building permits and 10 contractor registrations that were processed this month. Let me know if there's any questions.
Excellent, thank you. Consent agenda. This agenda consists of non-controversial or housekeeping items required by law. Items may be approved with a single motion. Items may be removed from the consent agenda by any council member by making such request prior to a motion and a vote. Item number 1, consider approval of November 17, 2020 regular meeting minutes. Do we have a motion?
I make a motion that we accept the consent agenda as written.
Do we have a second? All in favor? Motion carries. Tammy, the council member on video, did you see she raised her hand? All right, great, thank you. Regular items. First reading of a resolution concerning the approval of a Type B economic development project and amended and restated performance agreement by and between the Bartonville Community Development Corporation and Cloud9 Management. This is only the reading. The item will be discussed under item 8. Tammy, please provide the reading.
Mayor, we're gonna change that up a little bit, and then we are gonna discuss the item. Cloud is here, she has, she has to leave early. So I'm gonna, just give a brief summary. There was a performance agreement between, the Community Development Corporation Board and Cloud9 that was approved, in April of 2019, that the Town Council did approve. It was for financial, assistance for the construction of Cloud9 Salon and Spa. The agreement was for an incentive of $32,000. The Ms. Cloud was building a new facility here in Bartonville. She did purchase the land. She was waiting to sell her building in Flower Mound and to relocate here. The agreement required her to obtain a certificate of occupancy on or before March 31st, 2020. That did not happen, so she was in default of her agreement. She has come forward and asked for an amendment of that agreement. She has sold her building, and she has purchased the property and is moving forward with that. And she has asked for an amendment of that agreement to coincide with her new expected date, to coincide with construction, with an expectancy of obtaining a CO by April of 2022. The Community Development Corporation did meet. They did approve an amendment to that agreement, which is on the agenda tonight. With that said, I'll let Ms. Cloud speak to. I'm
Kim,
sorry, I
please
called
state
you
your
Ms.
name and
Cloud.
address.
That is incorrect, Kim. I apologize.
Please state your name and address.
Yes. And 88 Cypress, Santana, Texas. Our property is 26 407 in Marty. And as Tammy stated, our building has sold. It took a little bit longer than we expected. We're under contract. And because it's a medical group that purchased it, they need the building quickly. So we actually are finishing up touches for a pop-up salon in Montana, where the dance studio used to be. And we're set to open there mid-January. And we will be living there while we do construction here in Bartonville. So we're extremely excited. The whole team is so excited for things to be moving forward. So I appreciate the fact that you're giving us the opportunity.
The floor plan, I hear changed a little bit,
Sure.
but the overall aesthetics of the building still the
Yes.
same.
So what we'd like to do, we're looking at a couple of changes on the interior of ours, just a few little things. And now with Marty's news, we are going to go back to engineering and architect and get them to make any changes. We'd like to still come show that to y'all just so you can see it before we move forward. But yes.
Thank you.
Kim, who drove that change? You or Marty? Just out of curiosity.
Well, it was Marty decided to look into the land and see if they would be willing to sell it. He kind of faced the same thing when we first fell in love with that land that they told us it wasn't for sale. They told him the same thing, and then they got into negotiations and it worked. We will say that we're very excited about it. We feel super close, and it's such a great thing to offer to our clients with bakery and stuff. We also feel like it could be a plus that we don't have to drive it. So we would like to still continue to have the building the size that you have seen and approved, and have other tenants. So, but no drive.
Very
So
good.
retail downstairs, say the office upstairs. Been approached by several businesses. Just trying to be really smart on exactly how big we want to be and how tenants.
Terrific. Thank you.
The state law requires that any project of this has to have 2 readings of the resolution. So I'll need to read that resolution. And as a side note, when she brings those plans, the site plan will have to be approved by council. So you'll get more information at that time when it gets closer to the project.
Can we do the readings right after each other and do it now, or do we need to wait?
We'll do this reading and then you'll follow the rest of the agenda.
Okay.
Are you ready for that question? Question? First reading, a resolution of the Town Council of the Town of Bartonville, Texas, approving an amended and restated performance agreement by and between the Bartonville Community Development Corporation and Cloud9 Management LLC, a Texas limited liability company, to provide a financial incentive for economic development purposes authorized pursuant to sections 501.103 and 505.158 of the Texas Local Government Code and providing for an immediate effective date.
Great, thank you. Item number 3, discussion of 2020 miscellaneous street project.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. I'll give a quick summary as Gary is getting settled. This item is for Council to offer direction on whether to use the annual contract with SPI or to bid for the remaining portion of the streets project. Most of the items are already included in the SPI contract. The only thing that we would have to go under a separate contract for would be any micro seal work. Some advantages to continuing with SPI include familiarity with the contractor, time savings for not having to go through the bid process, and an opportunity for negotiation of work items that are not already included in the contract. Just as a reminder, there's a little under $300,000 available left in the tax note, plus any interest that we may earn on the account from here moving forward. Let me know if you have any questions, or Gary, if there's anything I missed.
No, but thank you, Sylvia. You'll see there's a what amounts to a work order number 4 for the annual contract. I actually set up the plans and specs in a hybrid fashion, maybe to make it easier, I guess, so that we could have the option of either, once we decide tonight if we want to bid it out or do it as a work order under the annual contract. I'll have a few minor modifications to the specs and so forth. Either way, but the work order format is the easiest way to show cost estimate. And what you can see is this is really pretty consistent with what we talked about last month, except this now has more detailed measurements. Previously I'd driven a road and I said, it looks like we'll have about, I pick a number out of the air of square yards of spot repair. Now I've gone out and walked it and measured it. So these are pretty accurate numbers. Most of the unit prices, as Sylvia mentioned, are actually from the annual contract. And so they're not guesses. Something like the Latigo Lane tree trimming, that was a guess. Culvert replacement by slip lining, I should speak to that briefly, I think. That's the culvert on Stonewood that if you went down and looked on the inside of it, the bottom of it is all rusted out. And so it's really just a matter of time before that collapses. And that's why when I saw that went to the top of the culvert list in this project list. And the way we'll do that, there are 3 36-inch corrugated metal pipe culverts. And what we'll do is we'll take a 27-inch high-density polyethylene pipe and slip it in each culvert. And then we'll inject grout to fill the void between the 2 pipes. Then you have a permanent, actually smoother culvert. Actually would have a little more capacity because it's so smooth, but you don't have to close the road to do it. So there's no pavement repair. There's no disruption of traffic and so forth. It's really a pretty easy process. You just, if all goes well and they're not too badly deformed, you can just slide the pipe in, fill it with grout, and you're done. And so that's actually cheaper than open cutting as well. So for a lot of reasons, I think that was the way to go there. On West Jeter, the numbers I'm using right now are to reconstruct 400 feet over there. We could make that number be really anything we want it to be. When I walked it, it could stand to have about 800 feet of it replaced. But that was really never the intent anyways, as you remember. Jeff and I had talked about it, and we talked about it last time. It's more of a test case. And so whatever we use 400 feet, we'll take 200 feet of it and use the GeoGrid, and the other 200 feet, or the other half, whatever, and use the GeoWeb, both with FlexBase. Probably going to try a new type of GeoGrid. I understand there's a new iteration, I guess you could say, of GeoGrid that's just coming out We might even be able to get a discount on it as a test case, but it's got some deeper ribs, supposed to be more advanced, and so it may be a good place to try that. So you can see the total there is $281,000. We could make some changes. We could pretty much take anything out of there you wanted to take out and add to it. If we bid it, we could consider an alternate bid for, say, the little Gibbons culvert. I'm sorry, Broom culvert, or the East Jeter culvert. Those are not super pressing, so I'm not really too worried about those. So really the first thing is to see if you're comfortable with these repairs and this cost at this point. And then I want to talk about, we can discuss how we want to procure the services.
So, Gary, one thing I had a question on was at the bottom where you notated the spring contract for the micro seal for Post Oak, Green Oak, Latigo, and Bridal Bed. Those would be done after the spot repairs would be done up in the upper section.
Yes, because the micro seal, there's not a lot of contractors that do it.
Right.
So when we did it out there before, we had to piggyback with a bunch of other communities, and they'd come up to this part of town or country from, I think it's the Austin area. And they'd come up in the spring and they'd go to all these little towns and do some micro sealing. So we would piggyback on something like that.
Yeah, we piggyback on the Flower Mountain at time. They did them all at the same time as well. The 400 feet that we were talking about, that's 800. I just saw that it changed to 400.
Yeah. I changed it to 400 because I had forgotten about the spring contract for the micro seal.
Okay.
And Sylvia caught it for me, thankfully. So, well, now that I admitted it, I still have egg on my face, but the point is, if we not caught that, I would have had the 800 feet, and then come spring, we've been short.
I walked the area that you had marked, and that was the 800 feet section, and you're absolutely right. Absolutely could be replaced, but that's just the funds in the test case we're talking.
Yeah.
200 feet of the geo grid, and then 200 feet of the new
The geo web.
Yeah, of it. That way we can get it, because that section of road is redone by us and the county on top, and it's garbage. I mean, it's completely garbage. So it'll be a wonderful example if we can make sure that we get a sub base stabilized so that we don't get a couple of the lower section curve. Because you have some dipping in the road inside the pavement. You can't afford to have that in this test.
Right.
So
for this kind of construction, what we would do is we would go in there and we would remove 10 inches of material, pavement, whatever's under it, to 10 inches deep. And then we would proof roll that and check it. If there's any soft spots, we would repair those soft spots with flex base. Then we would put the grid or web, whichever we're using in that section, fill it with flex base 6 inches deep and compact it. Then we would put the 4 inches of asphalt on top of that. So we should be back at exactly the same grade we're at now. Same width, same grade, better smoothness.
the goal here is that 2 weeks after we put it down, it doesn't crack open.
We don't want to hear that.
we've had this last series of improvements, horrendous amount of cracking that we experienced. So,
Gary, that slip lining material that they use on that for the 27-inch culvert, is it corrugated on the outside and smooth on the interior?
Yes, I believe it is.
Okay, so it will let the flow go through without holding back any resistance for
Yeah, it's real
soil rocks or
smooth.
whatever.
So by being so smooth, even when it's a smaller pipe, you actually get more capacity.
Let the flow go.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, any other questions?
So the first thing then is, I guess, direction that we're comfortable with these repairs, or do you want to swap anything out? Or
Jeff, any concern?
I'm excessively pleased with the repairs.
Okay.
Post repairs.
so the other question then is, do we want to bid it out or do it as a work order to our annual contract? Sylvia mentioned the bulk of these items were in the annual contract, including the concrete joint sealing, because we had a suspicion we were going to need to be doing that. The primary things that are not are a few of the components of the West Jeter reconstruction, the Latigo Lane trimming, and then the culvert with slip line. I do know the material cost for the slip lining, so it's just going to be labor. One of the advantages of using the annual contract is I think we can sit down and if we just say our target is $215,000 for that work or whatever it is, we can work with SPI to maximize what we can do with that. We can make some minor adjustments if we needed to add some in spot repairs, or if we had to cut back on West Jeter a little bit to make it all fit. But let's say, for example, I'm crazy when I say we can do that slip line with 25,000 and he says it's 40,000. Then we can work with that with him on some other adjustments to work that out. I don't think that's going to be the case, but it gives us the opportunity that we really don't have when we're doing a public bid to really work with him to get the most we can get out of however much money we want to spend. So I would suggest we do it that way, and probably that maybe Sylvia and Jeff and I meet with the contractor to work. We give him the specs and the plans, let him get some numbers together, then the four of us could get together and work out the details and pin everything down.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the flexibility we'll gain by working directly with this guy. So give us ways to change and adjust. We have much more freedom than that.
Council, any concerns?
Bang for the buck and more flexibility. It makes it important for one contractor to go in there knowing he's got everything to do.
No concerns, go with the recommendation. Thank you.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Gary, one last thing. Since you are retiring and riding off in the sun, your fishing street sign.
Hey, Gary, I told him to do it as a court, because this job has always been kind of a dead end.
In many ways, I feel a little bit like this is my town too, and I sure appreciate it. Thank you so much. It's amazing.
And thank you, Gary. Item number 4, continue public hearing to consider an ordinance amending the Town of Bartonville Code of Ordinances, Chapter 14, Exhibit A, Article 14.2, Ordinance 361-05, zoning regulations. Change the zoning regulation of Kincaid Lot 2R, Block A, approximately 10.09 acres from Agricultural District AG to Public Semi-Public P, SP. The tract of land is located at 2200 East Jeter Road, Bartonville, Texas. Time being 7:27, this item is open for public hearing. The applicant has withdrawn the request. Time being 7:27, it's close the public hearing. No action required. Item number 5, continue public hearing to consider an ordinance amending the Town of Bartonville Code of Ordinances, Chapter 14, Exhibit A, Article 14.02, Ordinances 361-05, the zoning regulations by amending Chapter 5, Article 5.2, uses permitted for the Town of Bartonville by granting a conditional use permit to 12 located at 2200 East Jeter Road, Bartonville, Texas. Property to be considered for conditional use permit is the same property for which the zoning change from ag to public semi-public is requested. Time being 7:27, we open for public hearing. The applicant has withdrawn the request.
Time being 7:28, we are closed for public hearing. No action required. Item number 6, continue public hearing to consider a site plan for Hemp Hill LLC, being all the tract of land being described as Kincaid Lot 2R, Block A, Town of Bartonville, Denton County, Texas. The property is generally described as a 10.09 acre tract of land located on the south side of East Jeter Road, more commonly known as 2200 East Jeter Road, Bartonville, Texas. Time being 7:28, public hearing is open. Applicant has withdrawn request. Time being 7:28, closed public hearing, no action required. Item number 7 reads second reading of a resolution concerning the approval of a Type B economic development project and amend and restate performance agreement by and between the Bartonville Community Development Corporation and Cloud9 Management LLC. This is a reading only. Tammy, please provide the second reading.
A resolution of the Town Council of the Town of Bartonville, Texas, approving an amended and restated performance agreement by and between the Bartonville Community Development Corporation and Cloud9 Management LLC, Texas Limited Liability Company, to provide a financial incentive for economic development purposes authorized pursuant to sections 501.103 and 505.158 of the Texas Local Government Code, and providing for an immediate effective date.
Thank you, Tammy. Consider an act on a resolution concerning the approval of a Type B economic development project and amended and restated performance agreement by and between the Bartonville Community Development Corporation and Cloud9 Management LLC. During discussion, do we have a motion for approval?
I'll make a motion that we accept the resolution concerning approval of Type B economic development project and amended and reinstated performance agreement by and between Bartonville Community Development Corporation and Cloud9 Management LLC.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Outstanding. All in favor? Motion carries. Thank you, Council. Item number 9, consider approval of resolution suspending the January 23rd, 2021 effective date of the CoServe Gas Ltd. Requested increase to permit the town time to study the request and establish reasonable rates. Approving cooperation with other cities in the CoServe Gas Ltd. service areas, hiring legal and consultation services to negotiate with CoServe and to direct any necessary legislation and appeals. Authorizing intervention in dock number OS-20-00005136 at the Texas Railroad Commission, requiring reimbursement of town rates case expenses.
Mayor and Council, I can give a brief summary. So CoServe filed a statement of intent to increase gas utility rates within its service area in which Bartonville falls. It would affect all residential, commercial, and public authority customers. CoServe proposed the new rates to go into effect January 23rd of next year. So there is a coalition of cities led by council hired by the city of Frisco who have filed a motion to intervene, and Bartonville is part of this coalition. Because the proceedings deal with rate making, CoServe will reimburse cities for any legal and consulting costs, so there's no direct fees to Bartonville. So the resolution that is before you authorizes the hiring of the law firm, Lloyd Goselick, intervention in the Railroad Commission proceedings, and allows for the suspension of the rate filing for 90 days. This will give legal counsel more time to review the application. If we fail to act on this resolution before the effective date of January 23rd, it will count as if we approved the rate increase. So council will follow up with a resolution or ordinance for final action as the case proceeds. Ed, feel free to add anything if I missed, please.
No, thank you. I think you summarized it quite well. This is something that is that happens from time to time when there are rate cases that are going to proceed, and cities will enter into coalitions like this to save time and money. The Lloyd Gosling firm is uniquely positioned to handle these kinds of administrative proceedings down in Austin.
All right, terrific.
Does the Public Utility Commission not get involved with these, the rate increases?
Since this is gas, this is the Railroad Commission's purview.
Any more discussion? Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion that we approve agenda item 9 is written.
Do we have a second? All in favor? Motion carries. Thank you, council. Last item, in the month of December, we have 2 happy birthdays. Councilperson Carrington. Supposed to wave at us now. And the old grizzly, grumpy before
Thank you.
his years, Mayor Pro Tem Trailer.
That'd be me. Yeah.
Happy birthday.
Oh, we missed it.
She waved.
Okay, we need, so we got a few more that we need to track. We're missing Councilman Nelson's. We're missing Lance's.
Yeah.
Happy belated birthday. Why is it not on my list?
Let them eat cake. Well, thank you very much. Time being 7:34. We are adjourned. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, everybody. Y'all have a good one.
Thank you. Same to you.
You too,
Merry
take
Christmas,
care.
Noel.
See you, Jackie.
Thank you. Merry Christmas, John.
Bye,
Stay
Jackie.
safe.
Happy
Hey,
New
Jackie,
Year.
when's your birthday?
28th.
Happy birthday.
Thank
28.
you. Thank you.
Happy birthday.